and we're live from Stockholm, Sweden with a round 6 report from the Rilton Cup. And it's a new year, everyone, and what better way to start the new year than with a masterclass in yoga, free for anyone to attend tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. floor 2 at playing venue. And of course, tomorrow is the Rilton Blitz that I've been talking so much about, and I believe that I will be participating as well. So if you want a chance to play against me, sign up for the Rilton Blitz, played at 8:30 in the evening tomorrow. And of course that is going to interfere with my round report tomorrow, but I think if it ends up that way, I will do a round report and probably a report from the Blitz at Saturday morning instead. Yes, fantastic. So let's see what round 6 brought us. So here are the results. We can see that there were a few draws on the top boards, both players with 4.5 points, Frode Urkedal and Elshan Muradiabadi, drew their games. And then we had few players on 4 points that won. So Arseniy Nesterov unfortunately won against Erik Blomqvist. And we're actually gonna see the end of that game today, I was thinking. And then Milton drew his game, that was good. And then we're gonna have a look at this game with Kaido Kolouts against Hampus Sørensen on board 7. But yeah, Dmitry Kollars also won his game. Yeah, perhaps if we look at the standings, we will see that perhaps only 3 players with 5 points. Yes, Arseniy has joined the top group. Now you can see the top group. And then we have Milton with 4.5, and we also have Tiger. I think Tiger won against Kon Kuskoshari. So those are the only, and yes, and then we have Erik with 4 points, and perhaps some other Swedish players. But let's have a look at the first game. So let's see. Yes, today in the live stream, the expert commentator was Ralf Åkesson, Swedish Grandmaster, but also Kaido Kolouts joined the stream after his game and talked a little bit about it. Hopefully we will get those recordings up so you can enjoy it afterwards. But we're gonna skip through the beginning of the game, and then we're gonna come to a position here where white played c4. So what is happening in this position? Black has a very awkward king. Well, it's hard to find a good place for your king when you've decided to place all of your pawns on the 3rd rank or further forward, and you have nothing on the 2nd rank. So it's not that strange that this king is a bit sensitive. So what is white trying to do? White is trying to break open the center with this. So create some more ways to attack this king. We can see that there's a battery here aiming for this pawn. And we can also see that this knight is attacking some squares here, would like to get closer to this king. And we also have the light square bishop trying to cut into this position. And for those who remember, Kaido, I talked about one of Kaido's games earlier when he played black against Milton Pansar, and he sacrificed a piece, and Milton then defended and won that game. So after bishop a5, Kaido actually did another try at sacrificing a piece, and this one was on the other end of the spectrum. This piece sacrifice was actually brilliant, as we will see. So instead of protecting or moving this knight somewhere, Kaido went for d takes e5. So opening up this file, also threatening to, of course, take any of these pawns. Yes, weakening the black king. Let's see what happens. So Hampus decided to take the piece, and white then took the d pawn with check. You cannot take back because you have two attackers here. So black needs to do something else. King f8, don't want to put the king on any of these light squares because of the bishop. Seems very reasonable. And then white followed up with this move, queen d4, attacking this pawn, which would be a catastrophe if it fell. So black defended with king g7. And now we can see another point of this move, namely this little x-ray against the bishop. And white played c5. And this bishop has few squares to go to, only has a5. And we're starting to see that this bishop is running out of squares. And these pawns are actually dominating in some way this bishop. So white played rook a1. Now black played queen d8. So what we see here is a very awkward combination of this bishop not finding any squares anywhere, and the only square that it could move to is now occupied by the queen. And the queen is then always stuck defending this bishop. So you can wonder, why didn't you play bishop d8? If I would assume something, I would assume that rook a7 is the issue. Then you're invading. I'm thinking if there's something else. No. Let's go with that. Queen d8. So now this bishop is very awkward. And also the queen. The queen is stuck defending this one. Let's see what happened. f4. Now playing with these kingside pawns to try to weaken this king. Rook e8, e5. So perhaps sometimes threatening to go to e6. I don't think you want to take this pawn because, yeah, then you will open up the rook and the pawn will probably perhaps be in the way. Maybe. Yeah, it doesn't look too convincing. e5. Queen e4. Now threatening e6, I believe, is the main threat. f5. Threatening the queen. Queen d4. Now threatening to play e6 again. King g6, walking out of the discovered check. g3, strengthening this pawn, but after takes he took with the queen anyway. So I'm a little bit confused about that. Maybe giving some air to the king, some space. Bishop e6, bishop c2, now aiming for the king like this. b4, and now this bishop is starting to look like it's never gonna get into play, because after b3 it's now hitting against this pawn, and black still has this issue with, like, you cannot move away the queen because then you lose the bishop, and if you play queen a8 then you're stuck in the pin. So I think Hampus has a plan now to try to free this bishop. So rook f4, h4, king g7, king h2, rook f7, trying to bring the rook over here. So you should somehow be able to move that bishop. Rook a4, rook a7, bishop takes f5 because now the rook left the defense of this pawn. Queen takes f5, queen takes f5, queen f8, and then without any hesitation kind of took that queen, leaving black with this extra bishop, but white has an overwhelming position with these passed pawns. So rook a g4, king g7, king g3, king f6, e7, king f7, marching up the king, and then creating another pass pawn. And yeah, black resign, and this bishop is still on this square. So that was really amazing. Let's just see that choice again, to just give up that knight. It looked like this knight could be very important in the attack, but this was more than sufficient. This positional sacrifice where black gets this very poor bishop on a5. Very nice. Let's then take the next game. Where do we have? Yes, it is Erik Blomqvist against Arseni. Yes, and we're gonna skip forward to move around 28, 29. So there were a lot of exciting things going on in this game. It was quite complicated, but let's see here now. a5, knight e3. Yeah, and this is a very hard position for white because this king is very vulnerable, and black has both the knight and the queen, which are usually very good at working together in the attack. And this light square bishop is a bit poor at defending. As a general rule, knights are good defenders and bishops are a little bit worse, since they can only protect one color. So let's see what Erik chose. Erik chose queen d7, which seems reasonable. You can attack this pawn. It also centralizes the queen, taking some squares, some light squares over here. Perhaps also this square on d5. And then black found this very good move, h5. And it's not completely obvious why this is such a great move, but it's mainly because it's covering this square. Not for the knight to stand on, but instead to prevent the king from going to this square. So let's see what happened. Queen takes c6, and now another brilliant move. Knight c4 can be taken by two pieces, but there's a threat here. Queen e3 mate. And now you see why this pawn is so well placed on h5. Because then the king cannot move away. So now white has to somehow respond to this mate threat. And it's not an easy thing to do so. Let's say queen e4. Then there's this double attack on d2. Attacking the king and the queen. And white loses the queen. And see, there are no squares here for the queen because everything is covered. We can't protect that square on this diagonal. Let's see. So you have to find something else. How's this move for? Can you try that? I wonder what happens. You just go here and you win a piece. That seems reasonable. So instead, Erik played g3. And then came knight d2 check, king f2, queen d4. This is a better check than the other one, which is here. But yeah, I believe everything is winning at this point. Queen e2, and then queen e3, king d1, and now this beautiful end of the game, which is very rare that you see this. Knight b1, and white resigned. So the threat is obviously queen d2, mate, but if you try to prevent this mate, for example, with a queen, then there's also this mate, knight c3. And there is actually no way to prevent mate here. You can perhaps give a check somewhere, like here, but then you're still getting mated in the next move. So this knight b1, a real pearl. All right, let's just look at the pairings for the next round. What do round 7 have to offer? So we have two of the leading players, Arseni and Elshan, are playing each other on board 1. Urkedal is playing against Nikita Meshkovs. And where do we... Dmitry Kollars is on board 3, but where is Milton? Oh! Milton and Tiger are playing each other. I guess I need to root for Milton, since we were previously teammates. But that's a bit unfortunate, but at least one Swedish player will get some points. That's probably good. Who else do we have? We have Erik Blomqvist on board 9. Oh, well, Martin Lokander. He's working his way up, and we also have Drasen. Yeah. So who is Martin playing? Mikael Boratovsky. And Drasen is playing Cohen Linhout. And Erik is playing VS Ratanvel. Interesting. Yeah, much to look forward to tomorrow. But shouldn't we also just have a quick look at what we can see in the Rilton Blitz? Yeah, so currently we have a few 2300 players. Maybe we will have some grandmasters joining late after the games, and they felt like they wanted to play some more. And yeah, there are a few players. So you're all very welcome to join. Look forward to that, and don't forget the yoga masterclass in the morning. Thank you very much for watching, and yeah, perhaps we will see each other on Saturday morning. Thank you.